Okay, so welcome to the Python tutorial for newbies part 4. So in this tutorial we will discuss about collections, mainly about lists and dictionaries. Okay, so what is a list? So for example, this is an empty list. You define it with this brace. Okay, so this is an empty list. You can check the length of the list, which is 0 because it's empty, and then you can add an element to it. Like you can add any variables or any values in it to it. Like for example, I will just append with 1, and then it will has the 1 as its member, the first member. So if we check the length now, we will get 1, and then we can access that member by the order. Okay, so the order started with 0. So if we input 0, we will get the value of that member 0, and then we can reappend, like append 2. So now X contains 1 and 2. We can check the length, and it will be 2. And then you can access the second member with index 1. Okay, you can add so the list in Python is not actually uniform, so you can add any type, you can mix any type. Like if I want to append a string X, it will do just fine, but it's not recommended, because if you do this, then you will have to check every member's type, and it will be, well, not as clean as it should be. So generally just avoid this, and you should do just have a list with uniform member. Like if it's a list of integers, then so be it, or list of string or list of objects, but do not merge it with or mix it with other types. Okay, so the next one is dictionary. You can define it with these braces. So what is a dictionary? Well, like a real world dictionary, you can define a key. So this is the key, which is a string X. Okay, and then you can define a value, which is, I will set it to 1. So now the dictionary contains one element which has the unique key X, and then the value 1, and now you can access it with this. Okay, so this will be very useful if you have to store a variable and get it back later at a very fast rate, because this operation is very lightweight compared to if you search a whole list for a value that you have inserted before. So if you want a fast access and all the members are unique, you can just use this dictionary to store it. Like for example, if I want to store my own last name by my own first name, then I can just do something like this, and it will work just fine. Okay, so you can do anything with it. You can have any primitive as the key. Like if I want it to be a number, I can do that as well. It doesn't have to be uniform as well, like the list. Okay, so how do you combine, or how do you use it with loops, ifs, etc.? So for example, we know that we have the for loop, right? So to recap, a for loop looks like this. Okay, now you can substitute the range with your list. So we have X list, right? we can iterate the items in X and simply print it. Okay, so this is how you iterate a list. And then, for example, if you want to append things to the list, like I want to create a, what is it? I want to insert around 10 members, and I want to insert I times 5. So right now your list will contain 1, 2, X, the original members, and then 0, 5, 10, 15, and so on. And this will be very useful for you to store your data and fetch it later on, because we don't want it to be like a cluttered mess or something. So you can use this to make your code cleaner, so you can process it to the next functions or next loop. And yeah, it's just very useful. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. On the next part, we will discuss about I/O, which is input and output. So our program will not be isolated like you in your room. Okay, so thank you for watching.